The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello and welcome everyone to day 3 of our 4-day Make Fax Great Again, where we explore advanced alternatives to your legacy fax server. I see many of you are joining us again today after being with us for the first 2 days, so thank you so much for making this part of your week today. This week we've covered off on a number of leading fax solutions, on-premise solutions, cloud solutions, and hybrid architectures. And I am very, very excited to welcome our partner BizCom today. The BizCom FaxCom solution is unique in that whether you're looking for on-premise, cloud, or hybrid, the modular and scalable architecture of the BizCom FaxCom solution has an interface and an architecture that will work for you with a seamless user interface all the way across each architecture. So we are very excited to talk about this solution today. We have with us Martin Grondin, the technical support engineer for BizCom. He'll be giving us an overview of the FaxCom solution and a fabulous live demo of their dashboard and administrative interfaces. And Juan Cueva is joining us again today, our Director of Technical Services, and Juan's going to be talking about a very specific tool that was built by BizCom, designed specifically to help users of WriteFax make a very seamless and smooth migration from WriteFax to the BizCom FaxCom solution. So we're excited to talk about that today. Before we get going, just a little bit of housekeeping. You should see on the right side of your panel the GoToWebinar control panel. Here you can type in your questions at any time during the presentation, and at the end of the presentation we'll answer just as many as we have time for. And rest assured, if we don't have time to get to your specific question, we will have somebody reach out to you directly to make sure that you get the information that you need. So a little bit about Instant Info Systems and BizCom. I won't spend too much time here, especially for those of you who have been with us each day. But we are one of the largest independent solution providers for fax solutions, and we are the largest FaxCom partner for BizCom. So together with the BizCom expertise and our technical support and services, we can offer an end-to-end migration to take you from your existing legacy fax server to the BizCom FaxCom solution as easily and smoothly as possible. So with that, I won't take up any more time. I'm very excited to turn the presentation over to Martin Grondin, Technical Support Engineer for BizCom.
Thank you, Julie. Hello, as I mentioned before, my name is Martin Grondin. I'm a Technical Support Engineer here at BizCom. And today I'll be presenting BizCom's faxing architecture. At BizCom, we believe it is important to have a solution that is modular, scalable, robust, and secure, and hope by the end of the discussion you'll find that our solutions meet your business needs for faxing. Today I'd like to make you a little bit familiar with the overall architecture of BizCom's fax offerings. We'll start off with a broad overview of our components and quickly cover how they work together. We'll discuss how BizCom's modular design allows you to create an environment that is distributed and capable of being managed without interrupting users' faxing. Additionally, we'll see how this modular design allows for faxing continuity in the event of a major service interruption. We'll cover how BizCom gives you powerful tools to track faxing and monitor your faxing environment from end to end, giving you accountability. We'll go over how you can migrate from WriteFax to BizCom using our migration tools. We'll cover BizCom's SDKs and web service offerings that give you total control of the faxing experience. And finally, we're going to answer some of your questions. First, I'd just like to briefly go over BizCom. You may or may not know it, but BizCom created the very first fax server in 1986. And over the last 27 years, we've focused on being the best fax solution provider in the world, and you can bet no one else has more experience than we do. We focus on the enterprise market to deliver the most robust and scalable faxing solutions. And while our original focus was just on fax, we believe innovation is also a critical factor in the success of our company. We've evolved to include additional ways to deliver documents like secure file transfer solutions, cloud-based fax, and file transfer services, and IP-based document delivery. We were the first to the market with Active Directory and Outlook integration. With our fax and secure file transfer products. We developed the next generation of hosted fax solutions that go beyond the simple email to fax providers of the past. We've combined secure file transfer with workspaces to allow users to easily and securely collaborate on documents. Some of the areas that we're excited about have been investing in are the mobile device space and security, two things that are becoming fixtures in the enterprise environment. So let's take a look at the architecture of the FaxCom solution. There are three main components for every FaxCom deployment with optional reporting and tracking engine. As we look from left to right, the FaxCom server component is the first component, and it does the heavy lifting. It is responsible for the translation of documents to a faxable format, OCRing inbound fax jobs, and connecting to telephony, which ranges from analog to PRI to fax over IP. We consider the FaxCom suite for Windows components to be the brains of the system, where all the intelligence of the routing, queuing, and delivery of faxing takes place. It decides where the fax is being delivered to and in what format. It handles the retry of outbound faxes and makes a decision on the proper fax server to send the job. It can also manipulate or prevent numbers from being faxed. And finally, on the final portion of any solution are the clients, which can range from a user-based application to an automated process. Suite for Windows has web clients, desktop clients, Outlook clients, and you can automate the fax workflow, including the ability to share mailboxes amongst users. With the latest version of Suite, we now support mobile clients as well. We also support routing to MFPs, printers, file drops, applications, APIs, and we also have advanced fax routing. You can send to an unlimited number of destinations. The last component of the diagram is job tracking, which is tracking and reporting engine that provides insight into your system, which we will cover a little bit later as well. Inbound faxes flow from the fax server to the queue, where the decision on destination is determined using Active Directory, internal FaxCom policies, group policy, or an internal user list. Outbound faxes start at the client or application side to the FaxCom suite, where the policies are then applied, and then the queue decides which server to send out on. We also offer a hybrid solution, which allows a customer to use our hosted service seamlessly in conjunction with their FaxCom server. Customers can use the hybrid solution in many different ways, including overflow to cover peak outbound times or when you send a fax broadcast, disaster recovery in case of a complete site failure, or you just want an extra level of insurance. The FaxCom queue is configured to connect to the hosted service, and rules can be set up to determine when it is used. You can have inbound faxes redirected based on different conditions, which are determined by your telecom administrators and phone company. The best part of the hybrid solution is that your end users do not need to know or take any actions to have the queue use the hosted service. So as we're mentioning, one major strength of BizCom is the fact that it's modular, and because of this, they can be distributed across multiple servers in your environment. The ability to distribute components across multiple servers and sites allows you to avoid single points of failure. For scalability, the modular design of FaxCom allows you to add and remove components as needed. So for example, if you're finding that you're saturating your fax lines and you need to increase your capacity, you can add additional fax lines or FaxCom servers easily into your environment. Another example is that you can add additional queues to help with load balancing and fax processing. The distributed nature of the FaxCom components means that making changes or upgrading will result in no downtime for faxing. And redundancy is a major key feature of this design and helps with disaster recovery. FaxCom server can be set up to be redundant, and we support various approaches to making sure you experience no downtime in the event of a disaster. If you recall before, FaxCom server connects with your telephony environment. In an active-active redundancy setup, your carrier or phone system will hunt across all available servers to find an available port. In the event of one server going down, the other servers will pick up the extra volume until the issue is resolved. In an active passive setup, you will have additional servers on standby in case your main server goes down. You can also choose to have a cold spare, which is a server or VM that is activated only in the event you need to utilize that server. On the telephony side, SIP trunks allow you to communicate with several servers, and FOIP is a powerful tool in disaster recovery since you don't have to deal with a lot of physical equipment. PRIs and analog lines can also provide some redundancy, but you will have to consider contacting your carrier about those options. And finally, telephony equipment may call forward in the event of unavailable fax servers. If a call can't be routed, it can be sent to our hosted environment, which has been a popular option, or if you have another data center, you can route calls to another center as well. Not only can FaxCom server and your telephony environment be made redundant, so can FaxCom Suite for Windows and its components. The queue can be put into an active-active environment where more than one queue can send and receive to more than one FaxCom server. On inbound faxing, a shared receive approach allows you to have multiple FaxCom queues process inbound faxes and load balance as well. FaxCom queues integrate very well into a virtual environment and can be easily installed on backup virtual machines that can be deployed in the event of a disaster. FaxCom queues can also be clustered using Windows clustering, and I'll give you a very robust setup. Additionally, FaxCom queues have the functionality of being cloned, which creates another copy of your main queue and allows that clone to grab inbound faxes in the event your main queue goes down. Email faxing allows you to specify multiple servers for processing of faxes sent as email. So faxing is extremely crucial to a lot of businesses, and it is important that faxing is both secure and accountable. BizCom offers some tools that not only allow you to keep tabs on faxes, it can allow you to see both historical data and real-time data into your faxing environment. BizCom offers two main solutions, in addition to the standard logging reporting built in across our products, that give you a broad overview of your faxing history and environment. Job Tracking is a database-backed application that gives you an audit trail for all faxes in and out of your environment. And FaxCom Dashboard, which I'm about to show you, allows you to view fax activity in real time, enabling you to rapidly respond to problems, and you can even preempt situations before they become problems. So with that, I'm actually going to bring up a demo system I have, which has a FaxCom Dashboard built right in. So you should be able to see that. Okay, so here we have FaxCom Dashboard, and up top it tells you, in this space for example, we're monitoring FaxCom queues. We have 6 queues that we're monitoring, and right here it tells you right away, you can take a look and see how many minutes your faxes are being delayed on average. It also gives you a quick overview of how many faxes have been sent and received or how many pages. And with any view here, you can look at the present workspace. You could also jump to what monitors are in warning, which are in alerts, and which have alarms. And you can also specify the time period that you want to look at. So you could look at the past 3 hours, you could look a day, a week, 1 month, 3 months, and 6 months. You could also individually change each item, a monitor here as well. So for example, we're on delivery errors. So this is useful, for example, if you have the faxes in retry. This tells you the fax, if you weren't able to reach a UNC share, for example, this would alert you on that. And you can actually configure it. So right here we're saying if this queue has 10 items that are held back, that are in a retry state, it will alarm you immediately. And once it falls below that threshold, it will clear off that alarm. Alarms can be sent to an admin user, so you can be warned about this before it becomes a problem. We have a similar monitor for emails because email faxing is actually very popular. We have another view, which is our FaxCom server, and it tells you how many FaxCom servers we have, how many queues are connecting to your FaxCom server, and you get a percentage of your port usage. So this is extremely useful if you want to make sure that you're not saturating your fax lines, or if you need to know that you need additional throughput for your faxing. You also get a quick overview of your transmits and receive pages. And like before, you have monitors that will tell you pretty much what's going on real time with your faxing environment. So for example, right here, if a queue or a particular session isn't picking up faxes, you will actually be able to see, right here we have a test one that shows this in functionality here. So here's a number of faxes. You can actually see them building up. And like before, you can alarm. You can say, when I see 25 faxes building up, send me alarm after 10 minutes, and then clear the alarm after 5 minutes. And this will send an email to the admin. You also get a good overview of all of your fax server traffic. You can get information about the number of faxes per hour transmitted or received. You can also take a look at how many errors you're getting, the percentage of errors, and you can view this over time, which really makes this tool very powerful. You can notice patterns, and you can utilize a lot of this data and really be able to get a handle on not only your activities, but also be aware of any issues that might be creeping there that you may not necessarily notice without this tool. We do offer the ability to demo this if you ever want to. It's definitely a good addition to our faxing environment. Okay, and I'm going to pop over to our presentation again. Okay. So in addition to dashboard and job tracking, all those tools, we also, so any office environment utilizes many different types of documents and methods of preparing those documents for faxing. You might even have an existing faxing environment that you want to get away from. So if you're moving away from WriteFax towards BizCom, BizCom offers a migration tool that can allow you to import your users and groups into BizCom's environment. I know Juan will be talking about that a bit more detail later in the presentation. If you want to write your own applications, BizCom offers various SDKs and methods of communicating with your faxing solution. And finally, if you have legacy applications and need more automated outbound faxing, BizCom has a solution called DocFlow, which can be utilized to process faxes from a variety of third-party environments. So we have a suite of APIs to cover any integrations that may be missing. The most popular method of connecting right now to BizCom is through our web services, which provides you a SOAP interface for communicating with the queue. So we've had users use, or we have customers use Java, C#, .NET, Python, and many more other applications to send faxes. If you have an application that uses SMTP or emails, you can actually use SMTP faxing, and you can integrate with our products using email. And that can really help shorten development time. And finally, if you're still using it, we do have COM-based APIs available as well. And finally, I'm just going to go over DocFlow briefly here before turning it over to Juan. DocFlow is used to automate outbound faxing by scanning data streams in order to extract faxing information. There are a variety of sources such as file drops, print streams, and email. The files dropped in a folder can be, but are not limited to, text files, mail merge documents, HL7 messages for your EMR type applications, or PCL files from printer streams. It's been used by many customers to emulate other fax products, and that helps reduce the amount of time reprogramming. So it's just another way to ease your transition from any other solution to BizCom. And we offer quite a lot of that. All right, so I'm going to hand this over to Juan now, and he will take over from here.
Thanks, Martin. Let me just get over the presentation here. Welcome back, everyone. This is day 3, as Julie mentioned. Thank you for sticking in with us on this very important topics of making facts great again. I'm going to be going over some of the similar topics that I've gone over in the 2 slides. However, I am going to be describing, as I did yesterday, some of the specifics in terms of how BISCOM allows us and helps us to integrate and to migrate. So going through our services as Instant Info Systems, we have our pre-sales consulting, we have our professional services and technical services. This bridges basically the ability for Instant Info Systems to help you as a customer go through and evaluate from a pre-sales perspective what solution is best for you, really looking at the benefits of the applications, what your particular user needs are. Through professional services, we're able to help you in deploying the solution and hand-holding you through our experience in professional services. And through technical services, being able to answer your calls in a very rapid time and to get to a resolution of those particular issues that may come up. We've partnered with BISCOM, which is a very technology-focused company. Their product, as Martin was mentioning, is built from the ground up. It's very modular, and that modular design is a key component in their solution. Quick overview here. Again, I won't spend too much time here, but the Instant Info Systems team, from a technical and sales perspective, we've got a lot of experience in the fax industry. We concentrate on fax only, and we are able to help you with multiple integration points. We invest heavily in our training around Microsoft, around SQL, around Exchange, around the multiple integration points with not only applications, but also from the telephony standpoint. And our sales team also has a large experience with the multiple integrations applications to help you make the right decision. So through our transition services, I'll do a quick overview again of the discovery, user directory, data migration, and integrations. And this basically consists of our transition system services that we've put together. Within this, I'll talk about how BISCOM can help us in having a smooth transition. But in addition to that, also really taking a look at the benefits of BISCOM. So through our discovery, we've helped many customers in actually migrating over. We have several customers that we're working into right now. We're actually very uniquely taking a look at a multiple consolidation with multiple fax applications. As you guys may be aware, many companies go through acquisitions, through mergers, and within that, a lot of times you end up with an environment that may have multiple mixed solutions. Within that, you will have the decision to take a look at what are you using today, what are all the users connecting to, and what is the solution that would allow you to migrate everything and bring it into one solution. So BISCOM is very modular in that way and gives us the capability to do so. So again, from a discovery standpoint, we take a look at from the end user's perspective. What are users really doing with the fax? Where is the destination fax need to go? From groups, cover sheets perspective, the aging of the fax. What are the aging parameters that need to take place from a compliance standpoint, et cetera? Phone books, DIDs. Briefly, I'll talk about this and I'll expand this on telephony. But DIDs is just a setup of the inbound routing. BISCOM offers multiple ways of doing routing, and in addition to that, they have very unique tools that allow to do advanced fax routing with their solution. Billing codes and dialing rules. So this, again, this applies in your current environment or your multiple current environments. And as we talk about, and we've talked about in the last few days, we've presented several solutions. Some have been cloud-based, complete cloud-based. Others have been on-premise. The BISCOM solution really allows us to do a hybrid solution, for example, as well. They have their cloud solution, but it also gives us the ability to integrate directly to EtherFax, which is another one of our cloud partners, which allows us to really leverage and expand on the telephony side. So user directories, exporting of users. How can we migrate users? How can we migrate data? So BizCom has actually put together some very specific tools that give us the capability to do this. But what we help you with from Instant Info Systems perspective is to really evaluate and see what are the needs. Do we need to migrate all the users? How do we migrate them in a way that's intelligent? In BizCom, we have what's called queues, and we're able to separate out users and or groups in a way that's intelligent so that we can actually give administrative permissions also for specific queues. And also, as Martin mentioned, the Active Directory integration. The Active Directory integration gives you a seamless way of managing your users. And then the routing of jobs. Where does the destination job really need to go? Does it have to go to an ECM, some sort of archiving application, some sort of document management application? So within data migration, there are multiple things that need to be considered here. Does data, the actual fax images, do they need to be migrated? As I've covered over the last few days, we've talked about for compliance reasons. You may need to consider whether the data needs to be moved. Is it actually compliance that you need to keep those documents, or is it actually more of a security concern to keep the documents and you need to H those out because they just need to be within the either originating application or some sort of archiving location? Evaluate the aging parameters, and then additional considerations are, do we keep the current solution to keep those documents? Do we just let those age out? But in terms of data migration, BizCom has worked and put together a migration tool that does allow, if you do have the need, to migrate the data and keep it within one centralized fax solution. They've built some tools that allows us, for example, to go directly from WriteFax to BizCom. And they've actually done a great job in not only taking the data, but really doing the mapping between users and groups, maintaining the user and group relationships between the existing WriteFax solution and then the BizCom architecture. And maintaining phone book contacts, for example. I know that when you look at it and take a look at what's important to the end user, they want it to be a seamless transition. Within that, the phone books, for example, can be an important piece if they're sending out via phone books. And then we basically can import all of that information into the BizCom mailbox server. Integration points. Integrations are another major consideration when we're taking a look at a solution. Again, I mentioned the example of enterprise fax consolidation. Within that, the DocFlow application that Martin mentioned has been a very strong tool. It gives us the capability to really interpret the data that's coming in. For example, we've been able to take WriteFax embedded codes and FCLs and translate those so that on the back end, changes don't need to be made on the programming side. A lot of times we have legacy applications that cannot be changed or the programmers are no longer there, and we want to basically allow you to seamlessly translate that information. And DocFlow is a very powerful tool that allows us to do that. There are MFP integrations, as Martin mentioned, multiple ways of integrating, direct integrations as well as integrations with just email it. And then we have the application-specific integrations, such as SAP, FileNet, Oracle, McKesson, Nambase. A lot of our customers are larger customers on the healthcare and financial, but we've got customers all across the board, education, et cetera. And looking at the right solutions or looking at the right integrations is where we can assist you with that. In that integration components with BizCom, as I mentioned before, they have very modular design. The built-in redundancy has been a very important component. And then also, just to touch quickly on it, as Martin showed you, the job tracking and the tools that allow us to report and alert. If you've been using WriteFax, for example, alerting and monitoring has always been a challenge for WriteFax, and we hear that from customers on a day-to-day basis. These tools with the dashboard give us the ability to really be proactive in your solution and the solution that gets deployed. So how can Instant Info Systems help you? We're basically the experts in fax. We've been been working with fax for over 20 years. And within this, we have the expertise around telephony, a lot around images. We've been working with EtherFax, as I mentioned, for quite some time now. And within that, we are able to really take your telephony environment and put it on the cloud. What that gives you is a secure environment for your telephony. It basically reduces the number of errors that you guys are having to deal with. For example, on our support side, our highest level of calls that come in are related to dock transport. And we've been able to highly reduce that by implementing the EtherFax solution for many of our customers. BizCom has built that integration to EtherFax as well, and they also have a cloud solution that gives us really the flexibility for a true hybrid environment where you can have on-premise with your BizCom solution, you can have the on-premise server that integrates locally to all of your applications, and then basically allows you to have the flexibility to burst, as a term that's used out there as well. For example, if you have peak times that you're sending out faxes, and really grow on that on the inbound and outbound side. The migration expertise, we've talked about that as well. Within the migrations, we've helped multiple customers out there in picking the right solution, picking a solution that's going to give us the highest availability of integration points with simple desktop faxing, but as well as with the complex integration points. And then from a service and support standpoint, we're able to support you once we help you with the implementation and support you on the back end post implementation side. We also have the support with BizCom, and we have a strong partnership, and it's a breath of fresh air in terms of the technology expertise that they have, and they're able to assist Instant Infosystems with from a technology-driven organization. There are other pieces as well that BizCom is able to offer, like secure file transfer and other very technology innovating applications and future looking into what's next out there. But fax is really the core piece that we're looking at. And really our goal is to make the transition as easy and seamless as possible. So within that, I'm going to go ahead and take this over to Q&A, and I'll hand this over back to Julie.
Great. Thank you, Juan, and thank you, Martin. Both of you, I really appreciate all of the time and expertise that you provided today. Great overview and demo, Martin. I think that was such a thorough and all-encompassing overview of the FaxCom product. So thank you so much for that. And Juan, thank you again for your insight today on making this migration as easy as possible. I'm looking at the Q&A list here. It looks like we have quite a few viewers on the line today with WriteFax. I'm seeing a bit of a theme here on some of our questions. So we'll try to get through as many of these as we can. And again, rest assured, if we don't get to your question today, we will have somebody reach out to you directly and make sure that you get the information that you need. You know, this one came up a couple of times during the course. I think you've covered off on this one, but I think it's worth covering again. Do you have customers who have already made the transition from WriteFax to BizCom, and how hard is it to do that? I think you've kind of covered that one, but maybe it's worth noting our exact experience.
Absolutely. I'll cover some points on that. Absolutely, we have had customers. The transition has actually been pretty smooth in terms of the mapping of the integrations. The desktop portion is pretty seamless. But again, we've helped customers in a way that we're able to set up the environment side by side, minimizing the downtime, and then basically cutting over to the solution at the right time. Taking a look into a few considerations. Sometimes we're able to take a look at the existing telephony environment and basically just move that over. In other cases, we've also been able to help our customers in transitioning members to EtherFax and giving them further flexibility and less errors on that side as well.
Perfect. Here's another one that I think you and your team have quite a bit of expertise with. This has to do with performing upgrades. When I perform a WriteFax upgrade, I have to take my servers offline to do that migration and build out a new test server for production faxing. How would that work with a FaxCom server?
Absolutely. You know, the modular design and the way that it's the different components are separated give us a lot of flexibility with upgrades. For example, you can upgrade one particular component, and if you have two FaxCom servers, for example, you can upgrade one without necessarily having to bring down the other one. With other applications we've seen, you actually have to take down the entire environment if you're going to any service release or feature pack update. So that is a strong benefit that we've seen with the BizCom application, and customers have really liked that feature and functionality.
Perfect. Thank you. Martin, here's one I think you can address. Another question from a WriteFax user. They said, we are currently using WriteFax with EtherFax. Does BizCom support EtherFax? And if so, what is that transition like? Maybe, Martin, you can speak to that integration.
Yeah, BizCom FaxCom server does support EtherFax, and really it just behaves as if you had any kind of telephony connection, whether it was a PRI or analog. It works the same way. You get the number, it comes in the FaxCom server, and then it flows through to the queues and then to the end users. So there's really your WriteFax migration, FaxCom server will pretty much go right in there.
And Julie, I may add to that in the sense that that particular scenario right there has been one of the easiest scenarios to transition to, because we're basically repointing that EtherFax connection to, from example, from WriteFax to BizCom. We've helped multiple customers with this. We bring up a test EtherFax account, we integrate it to BizCom for our initial testing, and then once we're ready to move over, we just move over that connection, and your numbers don't even have to be ported or any other considerations need to be taken there.
Perfect. Thank you. Here's a question, Martin. I think this one is a question for you. Is there a maximum threshold for the number of faxes that can be monitored in real time? Our monthly fax throughput is presently approaching 1 million faxes inbound and outbound.
There is no limit, really. So dashboard, if you're talking about dashboard real-time monitoring there, pretty much it breaks it down by queue and server, and we definitely have a lot of large-scale deployments of dashboard where they're monitoring, dozens of fax servers, dozens of phone lines, and dozens of queues. So it's definitely something that can handle that situation.
Perfect. Thank you. And I know we've covered the WriteFax migration topic quite a bit, but here's a slightly more specific question. How easy is it to migrate DID numbers from WriteFax on-premise to your cloud solution?
So we offer porting services in our hosted service. So if you have phone numbers that you need to get into our cloud, we will assist you. Many customers use this option, and it's pretty easy to use, yeah.
Great. Talking about some security, are faxes stored encrypted at rest?
Yep, FaxCom server offers the ability to encrypt faxes while they're waiting for the queue to pick them up, and Mailbox server allows you to encrypt faxes at rest while they're in the data store.
Great. Let's see, scrolling through these, are APIs standard within your product offering? Martin, can you take that one?
I'm not sure about that one.
All right, we
repeat the question?
The question was, are APIs standard within the BizCom product?
Yeah.
Oh, API?
Yes,
yeah, the APIs.
I'm sorry.
APIs are standard, yes.
Sorry about that. I'll speak more clearly. How about integration with MFPs? Can you speak to that?
Yeah. Yes, so we offer integration with a wide variety of MFPs. HP and Samsung, we actually have native clients that work there. We also work with Nuance eCopy and ShareScan. And at the very least, if your MFP can send an email, it can send a fax.
Perfect. All right, we are coming up against the 10:40 mark here on our time. We're going to try to squeeze in just a couple more questions. I'm seeing some questions regarding healthcare applications, 3 or 4. I'm going to try to consolidate this so we can answer as many of your questions as possible. Are there other integrations to the EMR, EHR systems beyond what we've shown? Specifically, do you use any types of document management solutions besides OnBase for the inbound fax drop in Epic? So I think if you can speak in a little more detail, Martin, maybe about your EMR, EHR integrations and Epic.
Yeah, so Epic is a popular solution, is actually up and coming. I've been seeing it a lot more. So Epic can actually communicate with our queues and send and receive faxes through those. It's been something that lots of people use. We also integrate with Centricity and other types of applications like that. At the very least, if you have HL7 documents, we can work with those as well.
Perfect. And do you have healthcare customers that are moving to the cloud? Are you seeing that? And Juan, this may be a question for you too in terms of the transitions that we've seen.
That's over to the, go ahead, Mike.
So there's definitely, yeah, because the connection to our hosted service is encrypted. It's SSL encrypted. And we never make an inbound connection to your environment. You always make a connection to us. So it is compliant. And there are several healthcare customers that we have that utilize our product, our hosted environment.
Perfect. Okay, we have time for about 2 more questions, and a few more very specific questions have come in, so I'm going to try to knock these off the list for our attendees here. Can I have user groups in different clients? Sorry, I misstated that. Can I have user groups use different clients?
Yeah. So with BizCom, you can split up users into groups logically. But you can interchangeably use several backends. So if they use the web client and they want to use the desktop client, they can switch back and forth between those very easily. If they want to do email faxing, you can also provide that option. There's really not many constraints unless you place those constraints explicitly. So yeah, they can migrate between different clients all they want if you allow it.
Perfect. Can I create custom reports and have them delivered via email?
Our reports, our transmission reports and our receive reports are customizable. You can create templates, and that will change the way the transmission report looks. Yep.
Perfect.
And if I can add to that, Julie, one of the powers of the job tracking tool that Martin demonstrated is the ability to queue them, and then the ability to also, within the reporting capabilities of that, you're able to schedule them, deliver them to email, and also, if let's say you need another field within there, when you go into the properties of the reports, you actually get the SQL script there. So you're able to just easily modify it, save it again, and then basically schedule that out. So it gives us a really powerful reporting tool.
Great, thank you. Okay, one last question and then we will have to wrap this up today. Is your hybrid solution PCI Level 1 certified?
We are PCI certified, and yeah, so like I said before, the connection to our environment is encrypted, and that has met compliance standards.
Perfect. Thank you. And thanks to everybody who submitted questions. I do apologize if we didn't have a chance to get to yours. We had quite a long list, but as I mentioned, we will have somebody reach out to you directly and make sure you get all of the information that you're looking for. I want to thank our presenters today, Martin Grondin from BizCom, thank you so much, and Juan Cueva from Instant Info Systems. Thank you both for your time and expertise today, and to all of our audience members, thank you very much, particularly those who have come back for multiple days this week. I hope you're finding this webinar series informative and useful, and we really appreciate your time. So with that, I will wish you all a great day and invite you to join us for our last day tomorrow, where we will be covering off on our hybrid solution with EtherFax, and FaxCore will be joining us as well. So that'll be a great session tomorrow and a great way to cap off this 4-day series. So please do tune in tomorrow for us. That's 10 a.m. Pacific time for our final day of Make Fax Great Again. Until then, have a great day. Thanks, everyone.